between the episodes on Eisenholm.
The search for Dog the Moose carried on into the night. Through sea, slope, and stable, there was no sign of the boy. Eventually surveying the southern coast, something tall loomed in the distance. It was Dog. One escort quest and a torn pair of trousers later, Dog was safe and sound in his new doghouse. I added a little oil lamp to give him a nightlight, and all was right with the world. With Dog home safe once again, I turned my attention to the castle, specifically the western gatehouse. It was time to start filling it out in preparation to complete the western side of our outer curtain wall. While laying down the floor plan, however, an unexpectedly fortuitous guest arrived. Getting the ram all the way from here to the stables, however, was not a task I was prepared to tackle just yet. So he gets to live free, and we'll just have to remember that he's over here for now. I carried on with laying floors, being perceived all the while. But eventually, the footprint was set. Not wanting to run out of conglomerate rock mere minutes into continuing the walls, it was time to once again hit the quarry for more stone. Having already dug so deep and so greedily, it was unsafe. With our gambeson absolutely tattered, to shreds you say, I donned our blackguard armor to safely continue mining. A decent number of slabs in hand and many bone arrows sunk into my flesh meat, it was time to head back to the surface and process the slabs. With a looming need for mortar in the immediate future, I needed a far more sustainable supply of sand. So it was time to finally utilize the other part of the quarry mod, the rubble bin. I smithed up a copper plate, collected the completed brown clay bricks from the ceramic furnace while I was there, and then headed back over to the masonry lodge to put together the rubble bin using 5 boards and our new copper plate. Finally, our immense supply of paired white stones will have a use. Using a rubble hammer, the stones can be ground down into gravel and then further into sand. Never before have I been so glad to have too much of a stone I had no plan on using. Now having a potential massive sand supply on hand, I continued breaking down more of the conglomerate slabs to replenish our castle wall material supply. And so that brings us to today, where we're going to start things off by making a whole bunch of mortar, because we're going to need a ton of it for all of the brown clay bricks for the chimney that's finally going to get done, as well as a lot more for bits of the castle, because we have all of those little bricks all cut out for the conglomerate. We gotta glue them together. So I probably should have grabbed lime while I was over there, but let's brave the lads and grab some limestone.
All right, get out of my doorway.
They're shooting at me, they're chasing me, they're tossing rocks. Let's grab ourselves just a bunch of limestone. We're probably not gonna do all of these, because that would be a whole lot of quicklime. I don't think we're gonna need that much mortar. Then again, nah, probably not. But we'll make a lot of it, just so we can have some stocked up. Let's take all these rocks back over to the house and get them cooking. Hold up. Why is it so... Oh, look at that. Gotta get up to a hilltop. An aurora borealis. At this time of year. That is beautiful. Oh, I thought it was an aurora borealis. Turns out, that's just the beginnings of sunrise. You know what? Doesn't matter. Nature's beautiful. Yeah, except for you. Nature, you scary. So I'm just going to tend to these fires for a little bit. And once we've got ourselves some quicklime, we'll make up some mortar. And then we'll head on over to the castle walls and do a little bit of work on those before we get into housework. Long overdue housework. Chimney and second story work. Yeah. continue. Shearing trees is dangerous. Oh, I'm just gonna sit here. And I'm gonna watch the fire. I'm gonna recuperate. I'll see you when my kidney regrows. Ah. A big thank you to this video sponsor, Lagless. Want to play Vintage Story on a server with your friends? Lagless offers full mod support server hosting for games like Vintage Story, Minecraft, and more. Use my affiliate link in the description below to help support the channel. And now, back to the video. Alright, so here we are, 1024 mortar in our tiny cuboid hands. Now let's slap bricks together till sunrise, and mosey over to the castle. And hopefully it'll be a little less dangerous outside. The rift activity is dangerous. My flesh meat is bruised. Okay, so it's not quite morning, but it's calm rift activity, so it's safe-ish, apart from the stray bowtorn, to come outside. So, corners. The one in the distance over there in the dark of the night, hard to see right now, but we're going to do pretty much the exact same pattern that we've done for this, where we'll have that little indented one. And hopefully we'll be able to do it safely without being accosted by a bowtorn. This may use a few extra blocks compared to what we could get away with. We theoretically could do this mostly with dirt on the inside, but... Okay, so we have the curves out on the sides here. We'll have a 1 block gap, and then right here is where we'll do it. There we go, and that's just with merging the shapes, and I realize now I've trapped myself up here. Great. Help? Let's see if I can get onto that. Oh, parkour. And we're going to repeat the same pattern that we have normally here of going 1, 2, 3, and that way we keep everything just one below these regular patterns on the side. The slight elevation change will make the corners feel just a little bit more unique. Kind of. A little bit. But oh boy, this is going to be precarious. Let's see if we can finish this before sunrise. Oh! There we go. Less like a harsh corner and more... King's Landing? Sure. We'll go with that. Do my eyes deceive me, or did I miss a couple blocks there? I think I missed a couple blocks there. There we are.
Beautiful. Excellent. Now the corner's done.
Yeah, let's hop over to where we're actually going to be working for the most part. Now that middle Okay. There are friends up there. You heard of the Fox and the Hound. Now get ready for the Fox and the Sow. But in any case, that section there where the bridge is, I'm going to leave that open for the time being, similar to the bridge at the front of the castle over on the eastern side there. Just because I'm going to blend in the curvature of the bridge. It's going to have an arch underneath. And I want that to blend into the walls a little bit, just so it looks supported. So I'll leave that wall as is for now. But here needs to be covered up. And then wrapping around the side, oh boy. So we're going to get into a little bit of a time lapse as we work on the walls here, just a little bit more. 37th verse, same as the first, I suppose. And then after that, the farmhouse will get a little bit of that love it's been waiting for since, oh well, the end of episode 9. Slow and steady. Emphasis on the slow sometimes. We may not get to things all the time right away, but ooh, we get to them eventually. Let's get into the time lapse. my, oh my. We got quite a bit of this southwestern section of the castle wall done pretty well up until our western gatehouse over there. It's taken a lot of time. A lot of copying and pasting the little divots in those square blocks there. But you know what? It's all worth it. With every consecutive building stint we do on this wall, oh boy, it's all coming together. And the best part about the entire thing is, this outer curtain wall is probably the biggest material investment that pretty well all of the castle is going to have. Well, for the most part, depending on how far we go into the mountain with the actual keep itself. And I did learn some of the upper limits. When we got down to below about -15 or somewhere in that neighborhood, that is when these clothes finally were not keeping me warm enough to stop myself from shivering. Right now it's a nice balmy -8, so that ain't too bad. Ain't too bad at all. But since for the moment we are entirely out of polished rock for conglomerate anyway, so let's go do something that we've been meaning to do for quite some time now. Let's finally get that chimney built on the farmhouse. It's a little long overdue. I think I left all the bricks up over here. Yes. Let's just pop these extra little bricks away there. All right, here we are. Okay, so right here, this little section is the backside for where we have our ovens. So that's kind of the basis for, well, at least the 3-wide bottom portion for our chimney. And up there, I believe that's the center of our fireplace? Is it? Let's see. Ah, it is. Good, good, good. So at the very least, our chimney has to be this wide at the bottom, and at least go up in the center, though we could have it go up on one of the sides as well. Depends on where we want it coming out the roof, and I'm thinking possibly slightly over to this side, just to have it a little offset from the peak of the roof itself. Yeah. That also then leaves room for the window, where that packed dirt is right up top. We will get more natural light up in that dark, scary attic. Beautiful. So let's just thicken this out here. Yeah. And then if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get rid of that roof piece. And go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be pretty good. 15 tall chimney. Nice and tall. We can put ourselves a little bit of a decorative... Ooh. Make one of those decorative smoking chimneys from the Chisel Tools mod. We might not even have to do anything to it. We could just have it as is. First I need to get down. Uh-oh. Oh, I know some moves. Let's go build one of those so we can pop it up top. I was thinking of using the claystone to have a little bit of a snow hood on the top of it, just so, you know, water and such wouldn't get in, but I think with keeping in the style of it just being brown clay bricks, we have to at least give this a try. Alright, that and a couple of clay, we got ourselves a chimney. And if I'm not mistaken, that with a chisel, decorative chimney. Ooh. Let's see if that's going to look like that, or if that'll actually look like a brown clay brick one. Ah, oh I see. Okay. So perhaps we will have to chisel a slightly more decorative top if we want it to be smoking. That calls for this. Time for a bit of studio work. Let's chop off the top half at the very least. We're probably gonna do... Ooh. Is that too little? Probably too little. Alright. Claystone, you're back on the menu. Alright. You're gonna need something for the supports between this. Perhaps we will use slate after all. Perhaps a piece of polished slate. Yeah. Not too bad. Not too bad. Let's see how that looks when it's smoking. You know, if the smoke came out the sides a bit more, that'd be pretty neat. But not too shabby. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. From a distance, it'll still give off the exact effect we're going for. So I say, good. Very good. Let's do it. Back out into the dark we go. To make a chimney build real tall. Doop, doop, doop. Oh, good. That was just enough to get up here. Gotta put the smoking chimney first and then that. Excellent. Beautiful.
Majestic.
Almost as majestic as the majestic moose.
Look at him. Look at him down in his doghouse. He's a good dog. Alright, let's chisel the rest of this chimney. It's gonna break my ankles.
Oh, snow broke my fall, never mind. Ankles will remain unbroken this day. Let me just look at a couple pictures of chimneys and see if I'm on the right track for what I'm trying to get out of my brain meat. Okay, so after a couple minutes of looking at pictures of actual chimneys, I'm overthinking this. This is already fancier than most chimneys, and actually having this portion in the front be flatter would probably be more realistic. Most chimneys are really just going up, probably flat on one side, and just a little bit of that action going on. And that's kind of about it. They're quite simple structures, and I'm really just trying to make this fancier than it ought to be. Yeah, that sounds like me. So I think before I do too much to this, I might just leave this as is, honestly. Let's see. What would this look like if I slimmed this back down now that I've flattened around a little bit? Yeah? You calm yourself. Oh wait, it's 6 a.m. Carry on. This bit here I've really only jutted out just because I didn't want to have a little bit of brick that's flat against this wall exposed. Flat against this wall, that's what's throwing me off. Okay. Oh, okay, I can fix this. We don't need any of this little artsy stuff here. These little decorative nubbly bits are not needed. Ooh. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I hope the lighting won't be messed up like that. What I need to do is the same little tactic I've done to the outer portions of the rest of these walls. I'm gonna do it to these. Because this, if I give it a little bit of texture, I can flatten this out and it'll be fine. Because that little bit of exposed brick on the flat of the wall, well, it's not gonna get seen once we bulge out the wall a little bit now, is it? No. No, it will not. So that's what we'll do. We'll finish off this wall right and proper, the same as the rest of them. Looks like I'll just have to grab a limestone rock, or a couple of them, and just replace that little, what's that, quarter of each block? Yeah. Beautiful. We got a nice view. Got a little bit of sunlight in this dark, dreary attic. Now, I just need to properly do the little windowsills. Just rotate these and we'll... There we go. Beautiful.
It is done. The chimney. And the smoke looks to be billowing as it should. Excellent.
Let's pop a couple things away here. Clear out the old inventory. Wrong room. Force of habit. Food's in there. Like when you open up the fridge when you weren't hungry, but it's just kind of force of habit at some point. So we've got ourselves a nice chest full of random clutter. Ooh, we got more random debris here. Gonna fill that attic with all the clutter that we got. Boy, maybe not all of it. We don't need a lot of old fire pits in there, but... yeah, let's get a little bit of creepy cobweb action going on in a lot of these corners. There we go, stacking up the tables like we got too many and we don't know what to do with them. Some of these might do well in a particular room in the workshop, but for now they're decorative clutter up here. And if I want to finish a little bit of clutter here, I should probably change up these a little bit. Which means I gotta go grab that oak wood that I put down. Perfect. Go back there, cobweb. There we go. I think the attic is looking a little bit spookier. I think we might just need a little something to cover up the window there, just so that people can't see in, and it adds to the allure, just like the rotted door up front. That one. Hee. I have a couple of trapdoors I can slap in front of that window just to obscure from the inside and outside, rather. Even if they're maple, that's okay. Makes them look a little more worn from the outside. Yeah, that one might have to get replaced with maybe a solid oak trapdoor or something. Actually, maybe that third maple one, why not? These are just excess left over from building the milking barn. There we go. A different wood type makes it stand out a little bit better because everything in here is, well, pretty much all oak. So that makes it a little bit easier to see when I want to get out of here. It's place is creepy. Cobwebs. Pfft. Get out of my face. You know what all this is making me in the mood for? Filling in a little bit more of the decorative aspects of one particular portion of the workshop. Specifically one of the main rooms we spend time in there, the smithing room. I do believe we have the fat to finish enough axles to get the pottery wheel up and running, and then, with all of our mechanical lines run, we should probably cover it all up so nobody ever sees our mess of spaghetti eldritch horror behind, well, a facade wall.
Nothing beats a facade wall. Except for the brick. Nobody beats the brick.
Except for a hydraulic press.
Anyway. Oh, safety of the workshop, please take me in.
Keep all the baddies out.
Alright, you
just gotta go down there. We actually don't need all that much in terms of a mechanical line.
Well, alright then. So, what do we need? We need 1 angle. 2 angle. Just 2 angle. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Axle. 2 angle, 5 axle. Alright, well that's it. And that. Perfect. And now we've got the whole thing going. Let's see, if I turn everything on with a gentle breeze, is this all going to lock up? Well, with a gentle breeze, yeah, probably. That's okay. That's mainly the Helvhammer's fault. Everything else here, even on a gentle breeze, is working at a moderately decent click. Yeah. Alright, that's enough of that cacophonous noise. So that looks like all the mechanical bits are done and dusted. So all we have to do now is cover this stuff up with some facade walls to make it seem like everything is just all hidden away. Although I guess it's not seem, it actually will just be hidden away behind these little thin decorative walls. But one of the main things is going to be having labels next to all of our clutches. So that way, when we look at all of those levers, we're going to know exactly what it's going to turn on. I've made pixel art for this. Simplistic pixel art, but it gets the job done. So, let's do a little bit of a time lapse here as we not only put on these facade walls, but dig out this little section behind me here for our storage room. Where we can keep all the ingots that we, well, at some point we'll have to take some time to amass because these are just pitiful little piles. We need mountains of metal. But until that moment where we have said mountains of metal, let's work on prepping the space for them and prettying up this little room here. Because then really all we're going to have left is staircases in the front room and those 2 side rooms from our main mural entrance. Unless there's any other little details of this place that I've forgotten about. The basement. Well, calling it a basement's a bit generous. The area where we refuel the steel furnaces. Yeah, that'll have to get done at some point. It's less important. We just set things on fire there. Anyway, let's build. we interrupt this time-lapse to bring you an explanation. But first, we're gonna grab ourselves a little snack. The hunger pains. Well, while we're in here, we're gonna make ourselves a little something. Let's just take a couple of those. And let's see, maybe a couple of those. There we go. A shelf. No. Wait a minute. That's what I wanted. A tool rack. Then we're gonna take this tool rack, take a chisel, pop the chisel there on top of it, and make ourselves a decorative tool rack. Let's pop back over and I'll show you something cool. Alright, so, with this little decorative piece behind me, we're going to pop some tools on there. Well, at the very least one, we'll put the tongs there. So first we'll make a little bit of room, pop that off, place our decorative tool rack, and then place our chisel block on top of it, and right there we have ourselves a decorative tool rack. So we can take these tongs off the floor finally, pop them here. Wrong spot, there we go. And voila! For good measure too, we could pop a hammer there, or even there perhaps. And now we have ourselves a nice, fitting, chiseled spot to place our requisite tools for all of our smithing needs. And they've all got their proper little hooks there. We got a couple of hammer spots, and a place for tongs. Beautiful. Wonderful. Now are we gonna go right back into the time-lapse we were in the midst of? No. No, I don't think I will. There we go. We will have to add in the yellow stripes on there, or requisition those ones. Nope, we're building, we're not cannibalizing. There we go. We've got the beginnings of a properly decorated wall to hide all of our mechanical machinery. And how could I forget talking about the decorative bits? We've got a little bit of a mesh covering here, and nicely the quern right in there is now surrounded by blocks on all sides, so the only side that it should be able to pop things out into is down into our nice little container. Right on into the hopper. And yes, it will still hold a stack inside of it. However, once that first stack fills up, then it's going to have to be forced to really kind of push everything out into the hopper, and anytime it tries to push out into a different direction, sure, it'll fail, and yes, that will slow it down slightly. But it's automated. We don't have to worry about it. And as long as we stay close enough that things don't despawn, we are in the clear. And we've got labels on all of our toggles too, so, we'll know exactly what we're turning on or off. Which is kind of nice. And if we need to get that stack of stuff inside, we can still access it through the holes in the mesh. Like so. Nice and easy. Super easy. Refueling it though. Aha. That is where there's going to be an access point to get up top there and feed the chests. A nice little platform. That staircase won't be over here. That's going to be something where we come around. This clutter is all going to be gone. We're going to have our smithing area, and then in here, this will be our storage room with shelves and piles of ingots. If I ever get around to actually making piles of ingots. I'm sure one day we'll go on a little smithing spree. But regardless, we'll have pallets and such, and shelves and all whatnot to hold things. This may potentially move. Don't know why I gave it so much space from there. I think I was under the impression I was going to put my tool rack here, but that's far from everything else that we're going to need the tools for. So I'll probably pop this into like a corner here or something. Now that we have Napster, I don't know how often I'm really going to be using the pottery wheel, but I guess if I'm mass producing something, it does speed it up to have mechanical power. So we'll take advantage of that. Yeah. Now for this trunk here, we may visually change it to be a decorative chest at some point, just so I can make it look more like, I don't know, a floor safe or something of that nature. Just have to decide if I want it to look like a hatch or something else. A hatch. I could just cover it with a trapdoor, honestly. An iron trapdoor. Very fitting. Very expensive. Could be nice, though. But I think we've done a good bit of building so far this episode. I think it's time to go on to a little something different. Building adjacent, it's crafting, but not slapping together structures or decorative walls or anything like that. This is something with a practical, tangible result. For heat retention. Also, don't worry about the fact that we have a paired white quern there and a chalk or limestone looking one there that actually is a material that you can't make a quern out of. The white was far more readable. It's an artistic representation. Anyway, as I was saying before I derailed myself, let's get some preparatory stuff going for a couple more additions to the Canadian winter clothes. Is that update that I talked about briefly at the end of last episode already ready to go? No. No, it is not. Will it be? Yes. Yes, it will. Before the episode ends, you say. That's what I claimed in a comment. Will I fulfill my end of the bargain? I hope so. But at the very least, let's prep the crafting materials we're going to need for that. So we're going to need some pelts, and I think I used up all the pelts on what I'm wearing right now. Let's double check, though. Onward down to Basement Town. Whoa, we got... Well, we have 2 huge pelts. That's pretty good. So theoretically, with those 2 huge pelts, that's probably all we're going to need. Because the crafting recipes I have in mind for these are going to take 2 small. No, sorry, scratch that. 4 small, 2 medium. Or 1 large and or huge. Not and or, just or. So, I guess with 2 huge hides, we're all set for the hides. We just gotta get some cloth dyeing. Good thing we made a few extra mordant cloth. We might need a few more, though. So, with pelts all sorted away, what we're gonna need now is to make a few bolts of cloth and mordant a few more. Because if I'm remembering right... Alright, stay down there. We have 3. Yes, but we need 3 more. We're also going to need 3 plain cloths, so we'll just make those all right now. And we might as well get 3 of these going in their requisite dye already. The crafting recipes themselves will be shown when we actually make the clothing. Will that be today? Will that be tomorrow? Or will that be soon, and for the rest of our lives? If all goes well, it'll be before the end of this episode. So let's hope all goes well. Let's hope I remember how to code. Second I finished the mod the first time, it poop out of my head. So what we're gonna need first for our mordanted cloth, let's go grab our chromium. Or crushed chromite, rather. Okay, we're making 3 of those. We'll need 6 liters. We're gonna have 10 liters. Alright. Just 2 of those. Excellent. We're gonna have even more winter warmth. Even though the warmth that we have right now is good. We're gonna be toasty in the coldest of nights unless we go super north, and then we will die at night from frostbite. And bears. Probably a bear. Oh, I thought that had been snowed over. That's just white dye. Alright, so we are going to need a few red, so we'll just get those ones already going. And we'll, there we go. Grab ourselves a bit of water. And we will put our mordant in here. Diluted chromite. Pop those in there. Mordant those cloths. Good. And then once those cloths are done mordanting, we're going to put 2 of them in the black dye and 1 in the gray. Oh, I hear things around. Oh, we got a shiver on our tail. Oh, good, he's caught up at the tannery. But while we're waiting 8 hours for that, so it'll be ready by breakfast. I didn't need to mordant all that, did I? No, I did. I miscalculated. Because we don't need 3 of those, we're going to need another one. We need those 3 for being plain. Yes, I'm being vague because I know what I need. And I'm not telling until it's ready. It'll be a surprise. Now, where's my tannin? No longer down here. Tannin is back outside where the danger lies. You'd think I'd remember that, building a whole building for that very purpose. Even if the building's not quite complete yet. It will be soon. Will be soon. Mordant. Not mordant. Tannin. Strong tannin. I'll pop one little guy in there, make some brown cloth. Second I sealed that, I had a thought. We need more brown linen to fix our, very, very tattered gambeson. It's been hard to notice with making it invisible. But, as you can see... it's holier than Swiss cheese. It's seen better days. It needs some repair, it needs some love. And by some, I mean like a lot. Like a lot. So we're just gonna hide that away again. Speak not of that which we wear, which is tatters. It's our Walmart clothes. Good armpit ventilation. So while we wait, while we, words escaped me. While we wait another 6 hours for all of that cloth to finish doing its thing, I'm gonna finish up a few more of the wall facades in here. Nothing too interesting. Just kind of more of the same of what I've already done on this wall here, with a corner or two thrown in. So I'm going to work on that for a little bit, only a few minutes really, and then we'll grab our cloth and get right to, well, putting the last little batch in that needs to be dyed. So I'll see you in a moment, when it's dawn. The time, not the detergent. Alright, let's take a look at our cloth. It is probably done. It should be. It's been 8 hours. Excellent. We have our red. And we're just shy of having our mordanted cloth. And we're just shy of our one brown cloth as well. This should be done any moment now. There we go. 3 mordanted cloth. Beautiful. Now, we'll pop. We only have 2 liters of black dye. Uh-oh. Oh. Oh, man. Okay. Well, we can pop 1 in there. Get our gray cloth. Guess we're gonna need to take some of that and, well, I guess we'll make a second batch of black there and let's at least seal up the 1 gray that we need. And I guess we'll go grab some metal scraps, make more black cloth, so it'll be a few hours. That's okay.
This is what happens when you don't read the ingredients list or you don't check your vats of dye. Wouldn't be a Solstin video if I did everything correct the first time, now would it? It's always the numbers. They'll trip you up, they're tricksy. Predictable, but tricksy. Like those hobbitses. Pop that in there, we'll get ourselves a bit more black dye. I suppose we keep the 1 mordanted, we can at least finish off that barrel, and with this fresh one, we'll just put the last cloth in there. No matter, it only adds another 8 hours to our dyeing process. Not a big loss. Not a big loss at all. Just means we'll be crafting in the wee hours of the morning rather than at dinner time. That's okay. While that's doing its thing, let's go make the couple of sewing kits we're gonna need. Yep, that's right, sewing kits, and I'll remember this time, before getting to crafting, won't have to make them at the same time as everything else. I'm prepared. Mostly. Except for the black dye. We don't talk about the black dye. We're just gonna pop these in there for the moment. Make a couple of sewing kits. There we go. And now I suppose one little tidbit of what we're making and what all these ingredients are for without me giving, well, actually no, this will be giving everything away, except for how they look at the end of the day. But what's getting added to the Canadian Winter Clothing mod is hats, a couple varieties of hats, a scarf, and a pair of gloves. The gloves are just going to be a retexture of the fur-lined gloves. Same with the scarf being a red with a couple white stripes version of that green scarf that we were wearing for quite a while. And the hat? Well, there's a couple of versions, but you'll just have to wait and see. By the time this episode goes out, the mod will be updated anyway, so some of you probably already know, and the secrecy here is really just for my own dramatic effect, because timeline-wise, it hasn't happened for me yet. But it's happened for you. And soon it will happen for me.
and them. Who are them? The world may never know. It's the Rot Walkers. That's right. I'm talking about you.
Oh, thank you.
But while we're waiting for everything to finish getting all colored up, let's play in the dirt a little. Do I have more grass? Did I grab more grass? I've got a little bit. Let's grab these hay bales here. And then we're going to use some of this dirt here. Make ourselves a little bit of cob. Let's remind ourselves what cob is made out of. Cob is dirt, the lifeblood of land. It's got electrolytes. It's what plants crave. Okay. Now on this bright sunny day, let's take all this cob that we've made and go on out to yonder castle. I don't think onder is a word. This is just a little bit of work that's got to get done eventually, so we may as well do it now. Because we started this little cob staircase, and this is honestly going to change. We're going to have this little sorry excuse for a gatehouse. Expand it out just a little bit. We have a good bit of depth and a visitor. But we're going to make this very similar to what that gatehouse's shape is eventually going to be. Which is similar to that gatehouse, but instead of it being a straightaway like the one on the eastern side, the western side, as well as this one here, is going to be a bit of a 90-degree turn inside of it. So on the 11-wide wall side between the towers, rather than the 7-wide in between towers that the front gatehouse there is on the east, we're going to have our door going that way. So it's going to come out, and we're going to come out on this side. I don't know if I explained that right. Hopefully that made sense. We're going to turn. No, go straight. Go turn. Right angle. 90 degree. That hot. Ouch, no touch. But that's not exactly what we're building at this very moment. What we're doing is we're going to fill in the land here. And Cobb is going to make some very nice lush green grass at the, well, once spring has come back around anyway. Winter's kind of the non-grass time. However, we need to fill it out so we can eventually start building up some walls here to work on the keep. And once we're toasty, well, it won't matter that it's the dead of winter. We'll be fine. We'll be able to work out in all conditions except for dange. Because we die when it dange, but when it not dange, that is when we live. We live so good, the drifters wish we never lived so good. Yes, Rift, I hear you go ding-dong. The doorbell of death. Alright, well, several stacks of cob has only gotten us, well, this bit here. But it did save us on a lot of dirt, and oh, we have a lad. Okay. Using up all that grass, which I don't think we can really scythe harvest when there's snow on top of it. We might have to do a bit of scythe cutting in the dangerous spot under the castle if we want to make more cob. But wait, it's been 8 hours. That means, ooh, I should grab my mordant cloth.
I might need that if the black dye is ready.
Oop.
Yes.
Alright, this is almost done. What about the brown cloth? That's done. Beautiful. Finally, it's all done. Excellent, we've got our black cloth there, our grey cloth there, and our new 10 liters of black dye to make our last piece of black cloth. Now, somewhere around 5 in the morning or so, we should have the last piece required to construct the last extra vestiges of our winter clothing. Huzzah and hurrah! 'Tis a glorious day in the great land of Canada, and therefore the world. You know, I guess while I'm here I can grab this little bit of compost and... You know what? Do I have more rot? Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna do this. We're doing side quests. And dodging these things. Alright, well if I remember correctly, I think there was, what, 45 in that barrel? 45 plus this 37? That's over a stack. Hey. Hi, you. Hey. Hi. Don't hurt me when I'm in a menu. Okay. Safe inside once again. So, I think while that last little piece of cloth is getting dyed over there, this might be a good time for me to actually finish up the coating for the mod. That way we can actually put these things together once the cloth is all ready to go. So for me, this could potentially be a few hours of banging my head against coating and testing things out. But for you, it'll be seconds with movie magic. So without further ado, I cast myself into the fires of Mount JavaScript. Oh wait, C#, I think? Probably C#. I think that's what mods are coded in. You think I'd know this? I learned C#. I took programming at one point in college. Although that was back in 2008. It was a very good year. 8 to 9 years after the world didn't experience Y2K. You remember Y2K? Were you born yet when Y2K was a thing? I was playing with Legos waiting for the power to go out at midnight, and I was so excited I played with Legos with the lights off using a flashlight. Look at me now. Digital Legos. Let's be honest, that's basically what this is. The more things change, the more things stay the same. So as I said, without further ado, and then I adoed a bit more, now without further ado, I'm going to put that mod together, get that update going. I'll see you in a moment.
And just like that, with the power of movie magic, it's done. Only took 2 days of dedicated troubleshooting to figure out why it wasn't working. Every time I dive into the code, it's like the first time every time.
But it is done. The new update has added a few new items. 5 new items to be exact. So let's take a look. So where we used to have 4 items, there is now 9. So let's go through some of these new items. We have the toque. Now for this and any other white cloth required, I've had it so white or plain can be used interchangeably. It won't have any effect on the texture, it's just an option. We've got the gloves, which are very similar to the fur gloves, just a little bit more material and a little bit more warmth to them. And they've got like a little black fabric over top of the fur. We've got 2 versions of an Ushanka here. We've got the lumberjack variant, kind of a nice red plaid, very similar but slightly different from the shirt, and a more wintry festive variant as well. That's the one I'm gonna make. And last but not least, a scarf. Using the same shape as the green scarf that we were wearing before, this one, well, it's just a little bit more Canadian. So once that last little piece of cloth is done dyeing, we should be ready to put these all together and see how much warmer we get. We're gonna be toasty. Let's see, how much longer till it's done? It's been 2 days of me programming. Now, I know you saw just a few seconds ago how this was going. Okay, so we have 4 more hours till the last piece of black cloth is done. That means we can make everything but the gloves, I think. Grab our pelts. Maybe we'll free Cat the Rabbit from our little basement trap here. Go on. No, not deeper. Go out. Go out. Run. There you go, little buddy. Get up the stairs. Come on. You can do it. Alright, be confused. Okay, so with all of our ingredients in hand, minus 1 black cloth for the remainder of our gloves, we can get 2 of the 3 new items that we're going to be wearing all put together. So, let's start with putting together our new scarf. There we go. And then we'll put together our brand new hat. And now that we've got those, before we put them on, let's head on over to where our cloth is, wait for it to finish, and then we can put everything on all at the same time. Ah, beautiful. Let's get back inside before we get punched in the mouth. Alright, so, winter gloves. Let's pop these here. Ah, excellent. And now, we put them on. We get the gloves on. Removing our clockmaker wrist guard as is winter tradition. Put on our scarf to keep us cozy. And our festive Ushanka. I always called them flap caps, and I don't know if that's just a colloquialism of around here, or if I was just mistaking them for the more deserty kind of ones. Either way, stylish. So the hair still comes out the back of this. It covers my ears. Sure, a little bit of my beard comes out the side, but that's just because I have an extra bushy beard. Not much I could do about that without making it flare out too hard. It is quite toasty. Good coverage. Keeps the ears warm. And here is the fit. With all of my extra accessories, my old tool belt and forgotten noble necklace. My stylish glasses, too. So, with this, what does that give us for a total coverage here? So we've got 4, 3 for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 15 and a half, 17 and a half, 19 and a half. This gives us a total, when in good condition, of 19 and a half degrees of extra insulation. Now that, without a big puffy winter jacket, that sounds like a proper set of Canadian winter clothes. So I think we're going to safely be able to be out for pretty well the entire winter without having to worry about toasting our buns all that often. So outside building, when it's safe anyway, is definitely an option for us. Sure, we may not survive, but at least we won't be cold. But speaking of being warm while we're outside, let's wait until morning, so hopefully it's a little safer to go out there, and pop back over to the castle for just a brief moment. Now, I know it isn't exactly safe. We're just going to try and collect a little bit of grass down here. By little, I mean as much as we can physically carry. And hopefully, not get sniped in the process. Because there is still a lot of dirt in our storage, and we have much cob to make so we can finish actually filling in the second level of the castle. Now, I don't want to acknowledge it, because it'll stop the second I do say anything about it, but it's weirdly safe under here for some reason. Now I heard something moving around because I said that, huh? Don't shoot me. No, you shoot me. Alright, well I had a decent run down there. What about here? Can I? Nope. Cannot cut grass when it's covered in snow. Okay, not too bad. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Almost 7 stacks, not too bad. Now, while we're filling this in and getting our second level... Ooh, that was a dangerous little gap we walked over. While we're getting this whole area suitable for walking around so we can get access to start working on the structure of the keep at some point in the future, I think it's time to talk about the castle's name. Because I brought that up a little while ago, and I think now is probably the time to reveal what I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick with. There were a ton of fantastic suggestions put into the comment section about what the castle should be called, and thank you to each and every one of you that submitted a name. And while there were many wonderful suggestions, of course, there can only be one name for this castle. There were a couple of suggestions that involved Welsh naming conventions for the castle, and I really liked that. Felt very fitting. So, in honor of the flag that I have ready to go for the banners on the castle, as well as what we see around here, which, if we go outside the castle walls, especially over to the west, what do we see a lot of in the forest there? Wolves. Plenty of wolves. Sure, recently there's pigs, but it's mostly wolves. And the occasional bear and moose. But it got me thinking about the... Hello? But it got me thinking about the sea wolves in Western Canada, specifically around Vancouver Island. And I thought that would make a pretty interesting name for the castle itself. So, with Welsh naming conventions and sea wolves on the brain, I present to you
Caer Blythmore,
otherwise known as
Sea Wolf Fortress.
And that should be a pretty good name, as I slowly meander away from these drifters that keep accosting me up here. We're gonna have to seal that up. They're just walking straight up onto this platform, aren't you? Oh, yes you are. So, let's finish filling in the floor on this second level, and then we can get inside where it's gonna be safe. Because it's gonna get dark soon. The danger comes out in the dark. Now, for any of you unfamiliar with what the sea wolves actually are, there's a bunch of wolves over on the west coast of Canada that have managed to, kind of become, well, at least semi-adapted to being aquatic hunters. From what I understand, a bunch of wolves swam out to an island, ate the local population of deer, and then switched over to eating otters. And now that's the vast majority of their food source. So while we don't have otters here, we have definitely seen wolves going on out into the ocean, because we're kind of surrounded by it on almost all sides. Technically not on much of an island. The landmass does carry on far to the west, so... What is that, a peninsula? Like a little finger tendril on a larger landmass. Ah. That appears to be the rest of my cob. We're almost done filling it in. And then eventually we'll fill in up here to get our castle going. But I think we've accomplished quite a bit for today. Got a lot of work done on the western side of the outer wall of the castle, got some of this filled in here, got ourselves some new clothes, spent several hours remembering how to program. I'm excited to see what kind of shenanigans we get up to next. I think we might start focusing on getting ourselves that elk, because it's about time. We've been sitting at 34 rusty gears for far too long. Gotta hit that desired 50. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And a special shout out to all of our channel members. You're all the greatest. Thank you so much for your support. You're awesome. And as the sun sets behind me slowly over the castle walls, I'll see you next time.
Bye. Oh, Canada, it's cold and dark and snow.